honored to be here, and I'm your last speaker of the day. So they always say they put me at the end to keep the enthusiasm up. But for a second, what I'd like you all to do is to close your eyes. I'd like you to imagine that you're strapped to a chair for 20 hours a week. You're very thirsty, you're tired, you can't pee, and you're gonna have to do this for the rest of your life. Thank you. That is the reality of a dialysis patient. And this is who I want to talk to you today. Dialysis is life-saving. We are so grateful in kidney transplantation and in kidney disease to have this as an option. But it only maintains life. It doesn't improve it. And if there was any other option, we'd really like people to have access to that. It's also very expensive. Imagine multiple dialysis treatments every week for a patient's lifetime. Medicare, who covers the cost of ESRD care, renal care, spends $28 billion annually for less than 1% of their community with kidney problems. This is a very expensive disease. Now, if you look around at the people at your table, 1 in 7 people have kidney problems. I don't know if you knew that. So it could be possible that someone in this room could ultimately need a kidney transplant and could move into kidney failure. So they would meet me at a transplant center. I'm at UCLA. And the thing that I would strongly recommend was that they consider getting a living donor kidney transplant from a friend or a family member. It's really simple why I would recommend that. Basically, after 5 years, if a patient's able to get a kidney transplant, 85% of them are alive, compared to 42% if they remain on dialysis. They also feel better. They aren't strapped to that chair for 20 hours a week. They can do the things that are important to them. They can eat and drink more freely. There's 6,000 people in the United States who have a living donor kidney transplant every year. White affluent patients get these transplants every day. But this isn't happening as consistently in the safety net. There's a lot of barriers. There are barriers like people not even having education where they can know that transplant is an option. There can be barriers with care coordination. Family members and friends may never know that they could donate a kidney to somebody. And then there's just that practical, real-life stuff of LA where you have to get from your clinic to the transplant center far, far away. So we're stuck. So how many people do you think got a living donor kidney transplant in Los Angeles in the safety net last year? 3. We can do better than this. And I'm really here, committed, my team is committed to help. I'm so honored to be here with my team today because we're committed that everybody has access to all of the treatment options possible for them, that they make informed choices, and then they ultimately have access to living donor transplant. How we try to attack this problem is we start by providing information. We have designed, as part of my team, educational brochures that go through the risks and benefits of transplant. We've designed animated decision aids, where before you even walk into a transplant center, you can watch an animated group of characters learn what's going on and what it would be like if they went there themselves. We also have educated texting programs where you can learn the facts about the fundamentals of transplant while you're sitting there on your phone on dialysis. We also created the Living Donation Storytelling Project, where people who look like you, who are facing what you're facing, can tell you how they made the decision that they did and what donation is really like. We hope that these resources could be helpful in opening the door for living donor kidney transplant in the safety net in Los Angeles. The goals of our project are to increase living donor kidney transplant rates and decrease healthcare costs. In the safety net, the 2.5 million people here, about 7,000 are close to or have kidney failure. We want to partner with them. We also want to partner with their families and their donors, with their safety net providers, and with the transplant center, so that we can figure out ways to increase the number of transplants that can happen. We want to start by mapping the referral process. We want to look at all these amazing clinics doing amazing care, and we want to figure out what happens from there to where it breaks down to get them to the transplant center. We want to design education that's easy for providers to deliver, low cost, easy for patients and families to use, and in English and Spanish. And we want to figure out whether this should be delivered in clinical settings, direct to patients, or even using social media or the internet. We asked for $350,000 for a 3-year project. These funds are going to be used to do a community needs assessment, to map the referral process, to transliterate and translate the information that we only have in English into Spanish, to design and produce educational materials for dissemination in safety net clinics, to pilot this project with 250 patients and their families in 10 clinics, and to evaluate to see whether this process ultimately results in greater transplant knowledge, referral for transplant, and pursuit of living donation. But here's what's amazing. We started with 3. If in 3 years, just in this project, we can get 15 people a living donor kidney transplant, we saved $1 million just from this project alone. We also developed a model of working more powerfully with our kidney patients and their families that can be shared nationally with safety net communities.
Hello, my name is Richard Hicks.
My name is Matt Ronan.
My name is Susie. Emily.
My name is Diane.
And I donated a kidney to my cousin. And I donated my kidney to my brother Carl.
I donated a kidney to a stranger.
I had the honor of donating my kidney to my daughter Monica. She was 3 years old at the time.
I was motivated to donate a kidney to my brother because of, 1, what he was going through, and 2, that my brother needed a hero.
It was really powerful. It was a powerful moment to see somebody go from so sick to looking so much better in such a short period of time.
It was, words just can't describe it. She just like, and her color was back, and she looked so good.
The best moment after my surgery was on a Saturday. My brother came downstairs, I was eating breakfast and kind of doing my thing, and he said, "Bro, guess what?" And I said, "What?" And he said, "I don't have to go to dialysis."
We want these faces to be the faces of the safety net community. Please help us explore transplant.